Hi Cancer, this is Angel Aura Divination, and I'm here to give the sign of Cancer their end of June 2021 love reading. So this is going to be answering the question, how do they see you or how do they feel about you, especially for those of you who have somebody in your peripheral. This is also going to be going a little bit deeper into the reasons why you might appear the way you do to other people. Kind of giving you some insight on the way that you experience love relationships and how you could do better in the journey that you're on when it comes to developing relationships for yourself. So let's just get into the energy for you, Cancer. I'm using the Cosmic Tarot. This is my first time using it in this way. I just got this deck. I will link it in the description below. So bear with me. I'm reading these intuitively. I'm also kind of getting a first glance at a lot of these cards. So let's just get into it. The first card up that we have, this is you, Cancer. The King of Cups. You are mastering your emotions. The King of Cups, especially here, he has this little crab brooch on his lapel, or on this little like animal skin that he's wearing here. And this is a very Cancerian card. You are mastering your emotions. You are kind of delving deeper into the deep emotions that you have so that you can be an embodiment of those emotions moving forward. This is a very feminine energy for a masculine Cancer as well. So if you are masculine, you might be deep in your feminine energy right now, trying to understand how it is that you feel about the relationships you entertain. Your cup runneth over, but it does not runneth over to the degree that you give too much, and you don't want to give too much moving forward. You might even want to share in some emotional abundance with other people around you, which means that you would really be showcasing your own nurturing side here, Cancer, which is not unlike you. I think this is a very good card for your reading specifically. It's a very balanced emotional energy, even to the degree that you express the way that you feel about things very openly, but also in a very balanced way where you don't give too much or say too much. The next card out that we have for you is the 10. This is the 5 of Swords, excuse me. I was going to say it's the 10. The 5 of Swords kind of says that you might be guarded a little emotionally, though, especially with the King of Cups coming out here with the 5 of Swords. You might be a little guarded in sharing all the depths of your emotions because of the betrayals that you've had in the past. You might even feel like you sacrificed yourself for other people, or other people have sacrificed you for the name of... They said, okay, my guide said 2 things. People have sacrificed you in the name of love, where you were just somebody who helped other people around you heal. Or people have sacrificed you in the name of love, meaning that they loved you, or somebody cared about you, but they dropped you because they loved something else more, even if it was a love of materials or a love of career. Interesting. And this is a major betrayal for you, especially if you're a very nurturing individual. We have the 8 of Swords coming out. The 8 of Swords talks about mental imprisonment, and here there's 2 individuals in the 8 of Swords, so this is definitely mental imprisonment, possibly with another person. Or it's like you might even be missing connections in romance, especially because of mental imprisonment, mental entrapment, possibly even manipulation from other people, or even self-deception based on the manipulations that other people have kind of put onto you, especially if you are a nurturer. I'm getting that the Cancer collective that I'm picking up on here in this reading is very empathic, and that your ability to empathize with other people's emotions sometimes puts you in a position where you have to do the mental work to understand how people feel, as opposed to them doing the mental work themselves. And then they kind of bring their problems to you. They ask you for advice. You start telling them what it is that you think about their emotions. You bring them to a point of enlightenment for themselves, and then they leave you. Okay. I was gonna say more, but they just said that's enough. Yeah. We could leave the reading there, basically, is what they're saying now. I'm dropping the cards. We have the 4 of Swords here. The 4 of Swords is Jupiter energy, Jupiterian, I guess is what I was trying to say. The 4 of Swords talks about You know, when it comes to how you look to other people, you're very stagnant. You're very cerebral. You seem like you're trying to master your emotions, and that's kind of the inward and outward expression. So it's like you look like you're trying to master your emotions because you are, but you're also not very open and giving when it comes to the way you feel with other people because you're very caught up in your head about past betrayals, past heartbreaks. They even said you could have been the person who made sacrifices of love for the desire for materials. We had the Eight of Swords talking about you even putting yourself in your head or really raking yourself against the coals because of the things that you've done or chased when it came to love as opposed to actually having love. And the Four of Swords is kind of the energy of you needing to heal and rest and rejuvenate from the journey thus far because you haven't allowed yourself to actually explore the loving relationships that you might have desired in the past. We have the Queen of Swords here coming out. We also have this is the Two of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. The Queen of Swords is kind of a representation of you, but they're also saying that this could also be how you might look to other people as well. You are very guarded when it comes to how you think or what it is you think, especially if that past energy where people asked you for the way that you thought about their relationships and things like that, and people have kind of exploited you for your emotional or intuitive insight. Now you kind of come out as somebody who has a lot of burdens or has a lot of boundaries, they wanted me to say, but I said burden, so that might even be true for you as well, where you don't want to burden yourself with other people's problems, so you just have a lot of boundaries. Interestingly enough, I actually see that there is two women kissing in this card in the Queen of Swords, so you might be they said you might be dealing with same-sex relationships right now. But the way that they said you were dealing with same-sex relationships, it was more along the lines of possibly even opening yourself up to the possibility of that within yourself as well. And you carry these boundaries around you to have a deeper sense of peace. You see the dove in the corner of the card here. You know, she's someone who is very, very much in control of the way that other people communicate with her. And I think it's because you really want to be admired. You really want to be cherished with the Nine of Cups here coming out for you as your next card, Cancer. You really want people to value you for what it is you offer emotionally and protect yourself against things or situations that are going to drain you. You have a lot to offer emotionally when it comes to other relationships around you, but at the same time, you also want to be served. So you're very guarded because you don't want non-reciprocal relationships, which is completely fine. But it's just that you seem very guarded to other people around you. We have the Two of Pentacles coming out for your next card, talking about a very slow-paced energy of you trying to balance out the pros and cons of the movements that you want to make more towards the future. So if you do have anyone around you that you might want to move towards or make a move on, they say, you might have difficulty jumping towards that energy. We have the Moon coming out. We actually have the Tower on the bottom of the deck, and those are the only cards that I'm going to take for this reading. These are the last two cards that I'm going to actually get for you, so I'm going to read them as how they might make you look, but also as advice. We have the Tower here and the Moon on the other side. Here you go. And this is another representation of your energy, Cancer. The Moon talking about that, oh my gosh, that internal journey. They said the internal journey of opening up your throat chakra. Excuse me, wow. Where you are desiring like reciprocal energies, and you're really going within to understand why it is that you don't have those moving forward. And for you, this might be a dark night of the soul energy, or just a personal journey to awareness of how it is that you go about your relationships. With the Tower here, it's kind of like the universe is kind of, ooh, they're striking you down a little bit. Or they're actually saying that this is you. They're actually saying that this is you taking power in your life to destroy relationships that you know are not going to be worth your higher good. However, they've said you've destroyed some relationships that might have been worth something to you because of this Two of Pentacles energy, where you're trying to weigh out the pros and cons and you're not actually seeing the whole thing because you haven't gone on the whole Moon journey here towards enlightenment, towards deeper awareness. I'm not telling you to go back to any previous relationships, Cancer. What I'm saying here is that you might even be dealing with those energies right now of trying to have a deeper sense of discernment about the boundaries that you have. The Moon and the Tower coming out as advice is also being aware that things will be falling apart due to the universal energies that you work with, the higher guidance that you have, and understanding that karma is ultimately the cause and effect of things that happen in relationships does not always mean that you can always balance out, you know, how other people treat you or what it is you give to other people in relationships, meaning that sometimes relationships have to be cut out. Sometimes that there is a boundary that is crossed, and to move away from people, there's nothing wrong with that. The moon being here, you might be coming into a spiritual union of complete emotional reciprocity. I'm seeing here with the moon, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm looking at the moon itself and seeing the fish in there. This is the Cancer symbol, and you're really wanting to balance that out. That could also be a higher goal for you, is to have that deep emotional relationship for yourself and really delving into that. I think ultimately the Tower here is going to be a better sign for you than you might perceive it to be, because things are going to be put. The reason the Tower shows up in readings is that so that things can be pushed out of the way or taken out of your life so that new things can be put in its place. The Tower is normally a building in the tarot that is depicted on faulty foundations. That's why it's karmic. It's because the Tower could represent relationships built on trauma bonds or on the needs to develop materials, as opposed to the needs to develop the self, or as opposed to the needs to explore emotional connections. It's like the Tower is a relationship. It's kind of like, oh, they said a work relationship where you are really only around people because you have nobody else to be around and things like that. Those are karmic relationships. It's just an example. And that clarity is going to come after the smoke clears from those falling apart. I'm not saying that all of these relationships for you are going to fall apart. I cannot actually predict that with the tarot. I'm saying here that you, moving forward, you will be having a deeper understanding about why certain things have fallen apart here. Whether it's because of an overexpression of boundaries, as they say, or it is a desire to nurture others and then they leave you behind, and you have to heal from that, which might even cause you to punish people around you that remind you of the people that you have had walk away from you. Anyway, that's all I have for you, Cancer. If this resonated for you, I would love it. I would love to hear about it in the comments. Leave a like in this video if you liked it at all. I would love to hear about it as well in the comments. Leave a star emoji in the comments if this reading, if you got to this point in the reading. I'm like losing my mind. I started channeling too deeply. I got too deep. I got lost in the sauce. Okay. And also subscribe to the channel if you like more readings like this. And I'll see you in your next one, Cancer. Goodbye.